Hey, good morning. Come on in the room. Come on in. What's up, everybody? Hope you're having a great day. Let's get a little lotion on these hands because we don't want these hands to be ashy. I'm telling you about the Lord and relationships with ashy hands because people look at your hands. Y'all be talking about me on the video. She got some ashy hands. Come on in. Let's go. Let's go, let's go, let's go. There's my brother. Good morning. Good morning, good morning. Happy Friday. It's rainy. It's beginning to rain. The weather is icky today. Yep, but we're going to make the best of it and let it do what it do. All right, so good morning, everybody. Come on in the room. My computer is taking a while to get going here. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everybody? Let's get on in here. Y'all good this morning? Come on in the room. Come on in the room. We're going to get started here in a few moments. Folks is sleeping this morning. Folks may be running a little bit behind this morning because it's raining. Is it raining in your area? What's the weather like where you are? What is the weather like? Yesterday it was really gloomy here. And the weather was really overcast. It just had one of those kind of days yesterday. What's the weather like for you guys? Let me know. It's raining? All right, Julius, good morning, nephew. Good morning. I know I haven't sung my song. I haven't even said anything to you in months. But you best know that Auntie love you, son. Don't forget it. Yes, and dark. Ha! That's right. Listen, this is just a little reminder. Time goes back on this Sunday. All right, so we fall back. Can you lower the camera? No. Let me see if I can get my other. Let's see. Is that better? I don't want you seeing all in my stomach and stuff, though. I don't like it. Let me try to work this system I got here. I got to keep it plugged up. Too much ceiling. Is that better or no? Talk to me. I have to be able to plug it in. Let me know, is that better before we get started? And thank you, Marilyn. I guess those hearts means that's better. All right, let's go ahead and pray a little. All right, let's see if Apple is going. All right, that's the best I could do. Is that better? I know I tried to go online, but it's just, I think because of the weather, the internet is kind of a little wacky. So let me know if that's better. Don't worry about it. So that's not better and still a lot of ceiling? I don't know what to do for that. Okay. My apologies. All right, let's dive in. Father God, we thank you for this amazing day. We thank you for blessing us to see another day. We thank you for how you have kept us. We thank you for how you've watched over us. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We thank you, Father, that this is the day that you have made, and so we rejoice. We make a choice to rejoice and to be glad. So we honor you on today. We give you praise. We give you glory and honor. And we just ask that you would be with us on today, Father, that you would cover us. Just help us to have an amazing day. I pray to Heavenly Father that you will upset. My grandbaby be so upset when I don't answer her call. God, just help Layla to know I can't talk to her at this moment. No, she gonna call back. I love you, Lord. I love you. I love you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, God. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I pray, Father God, that the conversation that we have with you on today, that it will go forth unhindered, that there will be no distractions. I pray, God, that that you would speak through to me and through me so that others will hear. I pray, Father God, that you would help us to hear what you are saying and help us to really digest it, like allow it to marinate in our spirit so that we can get a full understanding of what you're saying. Help us, God, not to just be hearers of your word, but help us to be doers. Help us to walk out what we hear and not just get more good information and not apply it to our lives. So we thank you for what you're doing, and we ask that you would help us because we can't do it without you. In Jesus' name, amen. Good morning, fam. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Today is Friday. It's Friday, Friday. Hey. Friday. It's Relationship Friday. Look at my sister. Y'all give my sister Patricia some love. Mia Moore, I love you. You all pray for my sister Patricia. She lost her dad on Tuesday. And I'm asking you guys to lift her up. Send her lots of love, lots of hugs, lots of prayers. That they will get through this most difficult time. I love you, my friend. I miss you, and I'm praying for you and your family. I'm going to call you this afternoon, okay? I love you. I want us to talk about, today's topic is going to be about relationships. I want somebody to drop in the chat, and I want you to, you know how I am about these conversations, okay? I want you to drop in the chat and tell the truth. If you struggle with the silent treatment in your relationships, drop in the chat. Yes, Jay, honey, I struggle with them silent treatment. I struggle with silent treatment. Can we all just be honest? Can we all come to the altar and just be honest about these silent treatments? It's okay. Do you struggle with silent treatments, meaning you do it in your relationships? Or even if the other person does it. But you know, when we have conversations on the Morning Manna, we have conversations about us. Because we cannot fix anybody else. We can only fix us. So my question is, do you go silent? Something happens, something pops off. You may not like it. It may upset you. It may bother you. It may hurt you. And instead of you being vocal, instead of you expressing yourself, instead of you, you give the silent treatment. I can be vocal, and I am often vocal. I'm vocal in the beginning. I'm very vocal in the beginning. I'm going to say, I didn't like that. That hurt me. That bothered me. I'm going to tell you everything that it did. I'm going to tell you how you made me feel. I'm going to be very honest about it. And then, if you don't hear me, if you don't, come on, Andrea, if you don't listen, if I don't feel like you're listening, if I don't feel like you're a safe place, if I feel like I'm talking to a brick wall, if I feel like, this is going nowhere, I keep having to tell you the same thing over and over, I'm going to shut down. Can you all tell me if I'm on JacinnaSpeaks or if I'm on JacinnaK? I'm just asking for myself. Which one am I on right now? JacinnaSpeaks or JacinnaK? Because I don't know which one. I want to make sure it's JacinnaK. If it's not, I'm going to have to go live on the Speaks. Okay, perfect. My next question is, why do you go silent? Why do you go silent? What is it that makes you shut down? What is it that makes you just go mute? Drop it in the chat. I want to know what you're saying. Come on in the room. Come on in the room. He's got something to say. Will you lend your ear today? Open up your heart. Come on in the room. Come on in the room. Come on in the room, child. He's got something to say. Lend your ear today. Open up your heart. Come on in the room. Hey. Ramona said, I'm tired of saying the same thing over and over. That's about it. I'm tired of telling you the same thing over and over. I feel like I'm just talking to a brick wall. Let me ask you another question. How does it feel when you are not heard? Why do you think that they do that? Why do you think that they do that? Now, this is just a lot what I'm doing this morning, but I just got to do this real quick because my grandbaby is not going to stop calling me. She's not. So I just have to do this real quick because she is not going to stop calling me, y'all. She's calling me on the computer. She's calling me every direction she can get. Yes, but I'll stop talking if I see the conversation isn't going anywhere. And I would just end up arguing and then I'll shut down. Layla, can you hear me? Hey, pretty girl. I can't hear you. Can you hear me? Glamour? Oh, wait a minute. Okay, can you say something now?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, pretty girl. Listen, Glamour wasn't ignoring you. I'm on my live, and I have to call you back after you get out of school, okay?
Okay.
I didn't want you to think I was ignoring you, okay?
Okay.
Let me pray over you real quick. Father God, I pray that you would bless Layla today to have an amazing day at school. I pray that you would cover and keep her and watch over her and guide her, Father. And I pray to Heavenly Father that you would put your angels around her and keep her, Lord. I pray that you will always remind her how loved she is, how special she is, and how amazing she is, and that she can do anything that she puts her mind to. Bless her to have an amazing day of learning at school, and just bless her to just help her to know that her grandma loves her, loves her, loves her, loves her. And she's the most precious thing to my heart. In Jesus' name, amen. I love you.
Love you too.
Have an amazing day today. And remember, you are smart, you are special, you are beautiful, you are loved by God, and you are more than enough. You are
Layla.
That's it, girl. Give me kisses. I love you so much.
You too.
Okay, have a good day.
Okay, you too.
Sorry, y'all. My baby was like, you gonna answer. You gonna answer this here, because I'm gonna FaceTime you. I'm gonna message you. You're gonna answer. So thank y'all. I'm not probably gonna even post this video because it's a lot going on today. But thank you for your patience. Listen, as a child, I did not feel the love. I just didn't. So I sought it in different places. And mostly, obviously, from men. But I also sought it from other people. I sought it from the world. I tried to make, the best grades in school. And I just tried to do everything I could to get your love. And I'm going to tell you something, y'all. On this journey, in this season of my life, I am changing that narrative. I get to write how the chapters will be. Yes, God writes. I can plan, but God ends up writing. But let me tell you something. You have a big part too. You have a huge part. And what I'm not going to do anymore, let me just give a little side conversation here. What I'm not going to do anymore is I'm not going to blame my mom, my dad, my childhood. I'm not doing the blame game. We're too grown for blame games. We're too grown for that. We're too mature to be blaming other people for what we're continuing to deal with as adults. We're too grown for that. We're too mature for that. It's time out for that. Let's let that go. Okay? If we need to go to therapy, if we need to go to counseling, whatever we need to do to start dealing with that, those past issues, because let me tell you something, those past issues, they will creep up. They will be very prominent, evident. Listen, they will show up in your adult life, in your relationships. If you don't deal with that little girl, let me just say this right here. You don't deal with that little girl. You don't deal with the little boy. You don't deal with them. They will deal with you. They will show up in your situation and be like, hey, I'm in here. I didn't get love when I was 5. I didn't get it when I was 7. I'm going to get it now. And you're going to give it to me. And this is how you're going to give it to me. Or you may have had abandonment issues. You may have had rejection issues. You may have gone through some different things because people didn't love you the way that you needed to be loved. So now as an adult, it's the little girl that pops off at your husband. It's the little boy that ignores you ignore your wife, or, it's that little girl that, you have silent treatment. You give people the silent treatment. You walk away. Because now you have trust issues because this person did this to me. So because you did this to me, I can't let you do that to me. We're going to grow up from that. Let me tell you something. And what my heart's desire now is to work on my relationships and to make them fruitful. I want my relationships to thrive. I want them to be healthy. And I know that does not mean that they will be without issues. They will be without problems. That's ridiculous to think that you're going to be in a relationship and there's not going to be any issues. You live in this fallen world. There's going to be some issues. But the wonderful thing about it is when we stop living in the past, we stop allowing past issues, past traumas, past events, past relationships to keep us stuck in, well, this is what they did to me, so this is just how I am. No, We've got to learn a new way. The Bible says, do not be conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your what? Your mind. So I've got to renew my mind every single day. Sometimes many times, multiple times a day. We have to renew our mind. You have to talk to yourself. Yesterday, I was in some kind of way yesterday. I wasn't feeling it yesterday. I was just it wasn't a rough day. I just wasn't feeling it. I was just dealing with a lot. I just had a lot on my mind, just trying to figure out, like, God, when is some, God, I know you have blessed me with some wonderful things, but I mean, I'm just like, when? That was yesterday. Today is a new day. And I'm so excited that today is a new day because it gives me another opportunity to do it again. And I'm telling you, it is important to me that I do whatever I can, especially with my children and my grandchildren, to let them know that I love them. When my granddaughter calls, it's like I need to answer that. Right? Because my granddaughter used to live with me. She lives with her dad now. And I don't get to see her. I don't see her as much as I like to. When you're used to seeing somebody every day, she used to running in my room every single day. That doesn't happen anymore. So when she calls, I want to be available to her in a way that I didn't have that for me. I didn't go in my mom's room and jump into bed with my mom. I didn't do that. I didn't have that. And so as a little girl, I grew up and I never really felt, loved like that. Like I never sat down and watched TV with my mom and, cuddled up under my mom and, ate ice cream and laughed. And I didn't have that as a girl. And I knew my mom loved me, but I just didn't have those connections. I didn't have them. And so because I didn't have those connections, I'm serious about having them now. Even when I grew up, have you ever done this before? We're going to get back to the silent treatment, but you know how the Lord do. Somebody done logged on and he got to holler at you for a minute before you click off, before you do whatever. He wanted to let you know, I hear you. I hear you when you're not even talking. I hear your silent cries. I hear your silent thoughts. I hear you. Listen. Acknowledging where I was, because for a long time I wouldn't even say the stuff that I'm saying now because I don't talk about them to put my parents in a negative light. I talk about my past to be free and delivered and healed of my past. Does that make sense? I'm not ashamed to talk about it. If someone asks me a question about it, I'm to a place now where I can answer it. Even if it's difficult for me to answer, I tread them waters. I don't know what I'm feeling, but this is what I think I'm feeling. I move through it. I move through it so that I can grow through it. And I remember when I got, I had my daughter, when I had Jalen, I was 21. I was a senior at UCF. And I had to take her back to school with me my last semester. And all I kept saying in my head is, I will not fail. I will not fail. I know I have this baby, but I will not fail. I will do everything that I can to make sure that I succeed. And by the grace of God, I did. And I remember looking at her one day. I was in an apartment. My apartment was $54 a month. Lord have mercy. Do you know I wish I had that same apartment? I mean, that same one. Everything was right there together, but I could care less. $54 a month. Boo. It was me and my baby. And I remember looking at her one day. She was laying in the bed sleeping. And I remember looking at her one day and I remember saying to her, I will not treat you the way that I was treated. I will be a better mother. And you know what, y'all? I was and I wasn't. Have you ever found yourself so hurt and disappointed and going through about what you went through? This could be as a child. This could be as an adult. But you went through something in a particular relationship. And you said, I will never do this I won't do this to my children. I won't do this to my spouse. Maybe you had adultery in your family and you would say, I would never cheat on my spouse. I would never do that. And then you found yourself in a situation where you cheated. And some of you may say, well, I've never cheated before on my spouse. Well, you may not have did it with the physical act, but emotionally, have you cheated on your spouse emotionally? And let me just say, hold on. And it doesn't have to be with the opposite sex. Have you ever cheated on your spouse with someone of the same sex? Boy, I know y'all rolling y'all eyes. I know you cussing. I know you doing all that. You might as well calm down. It's a question, number one. It's a question. Number two, it's a get real question. It's something that I want you to stop and think about. Have you ever, I'm just going to say me, for example, since y'all like to get your panties on in the wild when we had them real conversations. Mm-hmm. So let's just say me. Let's just say I'm married and I'm in a relationship. I'm married and I'm in a relationship with a girlfriend, a friend girl. And me and her are so close. Like, we're so close that I share everything with her to the point where I never would have thought that I would go there with another woman. But I found myself so emotionally attached to this woman, pouring out to this woman, her hearing me, listening to me, pouring into me, that I find myself in a situation I'm going, oh my God, it can happen. I know you sitting up there looking at me like, no, it can't. Yes, it can. It can. You can get yourself so involved with somebody, so emotionally attached with somebody. People do it all the time. At work, at church, it may be somebody that, you just started out just talking to, and next thing you know, you're getting more from this person than you're getting from your spouse. Well, you just committed emotional adultery. I don't think we really, acknowledge that. Like, I didn't cheat on if your affections, if you are pouring into another individual more than you are pouring into your spouse, you may want to check that. Because your spouse, listen, it's you and your boo, baby. You're supposed to be pouring all of that into them. I'm going to say that and I'm going to leave that alone. Okay? Just think about it. I remember saying, I will not do this to my daughter. And particularly, I kept saying that. I will not do this. And the very thing that I dealt with as a child, I found myself doing it with my daughter. I found myself not being there for her emotionally because no one taught me how to be there emotionally. And I think that's what the silent treatment is about. You are emotionally immature. That's what God told me. He said, Jacinna, you emotionally immature. You do not know how to deal with your emotions. You allow your emotions to dictate your actions. And they cause a reaction that is not from me. When you have emotions and your emotions are not disciplined, you have no self-control with your emotions, right? And self-control does not necessarily mean you popping out. You are no. Self-control with your emotions means you do not allow your emotions to get out of hand. Now, let me just talk about that because God was showing me this a couple weeks ago. I was thinking about a particular individual and I said, this individual does this all the time. I would see this individual, great time, the individual would leave, there'd be no communication or very little. And the majority of the communication would be a text message. Text messages need to be thrown in the garbage. Why you say that, Jay? And listen, I'm not mad. I'm not any of that. We're having a conversation. You cannot handle what's another way to say it? What are you expecting to gain from your relationship if you're texting all the time? Let me tell you this. Let me go on a lighter note. I have a friend, a sister friend that we check in quite frequently during the week. Hey, sis, how you doing? Send each other encouraging word, a scripture, song, something of that sort. She's really good about it. Like, she's really, really dope about it. And yesterday we were going back and forth, and it was so funny because I was at the nail shop, and she had sent me a text message, and we were going back and forth, and I could not text her back because I was in the, the lady was doing my nails. She was like, like, you better not mess up these hands, ma'am. So I need you to focus. So I went to record her a message, and I had just finished recording the message and sent it to her, and my phone rang. And she called. She was like, look, sis, what we're not going to do is keep going back and forth with these text messages. There are some situations where you have to pick the phone up. There are some situations where you need to get into each other's face and you need to talk. I want to know why, as grown women, as grown men, when something happens, we don't do that. Okay, we text. Maybe we've texted. Now let's pick up the phone. Let's talk. Let's talk. Let's talk about what we need to talk about. Why do, when we have a disagreement with someone, and me and her didn't have a disagreement, I just love the fact that we were texting and she just picked up the phone and was like, enough of this. That's the type of person that I am. If I'm in a relationship with you and something has gone south, I don't want to text. I may start off as a text message to kind of lay it out there, what's going on, especially like if you're not with me. But y'all, really, it's too much we have available to us for this. It's too much. We have a plethora of resources available. You have WhatsApp. You have FaceTime. You have Duo. You have what? You have Zoom. You got Messenger. It is too many resources. You got the telephone. Mr. Telephone Man, there's something wrong with my line. When I call my baby's number, she give me silent treatment every time. Okay, maybe not. That may not be their version, but Why are we not talking? Why are we not talking things through? That's exactly right, sis. You are wired for relations, connections. You're wired. And when you don't have what you need, your body goes wacko. I was thinking about this morning, and the Holy Spirit was like, the reason that silent treatment is toxic, whether you are the giver or the receiver of it, especially if you are the giver. The reason that silent treatment in relationships are so bad, it's because number one, it gives the enemy room to move. He has room to move. When you do not talk things through, when you do not share what's on your heart, when you do not express what you're going through, you give the enemy room to move. This is what you say. Hey, come on in. Come on in. Oh, let me get you a chair. Come on, you can sit right here. Get you a chair. That's what we tell the enemy. When we go through silent treatment, that's what we invite him in. You know what you do when you invite him in? Now he has room to move, and he starts speaking. He starts saying whatever. Yeah, he don't love you, because if he loved you, he would be talking to you. And you know what? The worst kind of silent treatment is the treatment from somebody you live with. It's unmerciful. And I've been on both ends. I've been the one that gives it, and I've been the one that has received it. It is so hurtful. It is so damaging to the relationship. Why? Because there's no spoken word. Even if what you have to say is difficult, you need to say it. Listen, I say this all the time. I would rather receive a harsh truth. It may be hard for me to swallow. It may be very hard for me to deal with. Then you give me a sweet lie any day. I don't want that. Tell me the truth. I'll respect you more. Listen, I'm telling you, your truth may hurt. Your truth may make me feel some type of way, but at least you're speaking. At least I know where you're coming from. At least I know what your perspective is. But when we stop talking, we shut down and we give the enemy room. And he's going to do some talking. He's not going to come in the room and be quiet. Oh, no. He's going to talk. And he's going to talk a lot. If you don't handle that, you're going to find yourself in a situation where you and whoever the situation is with, you're going to start doing like this. And I'm going to tell you what else happens. When you allow that to happen the first time, it opens the door for it to happen again and again and again. You know what the Holy Spirit just said to me? When you have a particular behavior, whether that's a positive or a negative behavior, when you repeat those behaviors or when you give it room. So let's say, for example, we're doing the silent treatment. When you allow that to happen, what it says is this is acceptable in our relationship. It is whether you like it or not. It is acceptable for you to treat me this way. That's what you're saying in that situation. It's acceptable for you to treat me this way, or it's acceptable for me to do this. Either way, it's toxic. And it's going to cause a wedge between the two of you. Silent treatment is never good. Silent treatment is never healthy, ever. Now, there is a moment where you may need to go gather yourself together. That's different from silent treatment. Y'all know what silent treatment is. Don't try to act like y'all don't know. Don't do that. Silent treatment, let me just tell you what it is. It's a passive-aggressive attitude. Underlining the silent treatment makes it highly effective and very flexible because it's a perfect tool for abusers. Now, I know you're probably saying, I am not an abuser. You might want to think about it. Silent treatment can be defined as a passive-aggressive form of emotional abuse in which displeasure, disapproval, and contempt is exhibited through non-verbal gestures while maintaining of verbal silence. Basically, it's a passive-aggressive behavior by which an individual communicates some sort of negative message to the intended person or victim that only the perpetrator and the victim recognize through non-verbal communication. It can be explicit, very clear. Oh, you know I'm giving you the silent treatment and you know exactly why I'm giving it to you. Or it could be very subtle. Now, this oftentimes happens with the person that's an introvert, that's very quiet, or that has the tendencies to be an introvert, because they'll say, well, I'm just a quiet person. No, boo, there's a difference in you being quiet, and then there's a difference, because I'm going to tell you something. Silent treatment, because it's toxic, listen, anytime there is strife, the Bible says when strife is in operation, there's what? Every other evil work, or every evil work. So when you are walking in the silent treatment, that's what you need to remember. You're walking in strife. When someone does something to you and you get mad and you don't say anything, and I'm not talking about, you don't say anything right now and then you come back a little bit later and you say what you need to say. No, I'm talking about when you don't say nothing to, y'all listen, with my ex-husband, I'm not going to even lie. I could go for days. I'm talking about, I remember one time going for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Nothing. Don't touch me. Don't say nothing to me. Don't even look this way. And he would be asking me questions and I'd be, and walk off. We've come this far by faith, leaning on the Lord. I wasn't trusting in his holy word. I was over there being ratchet as all get out. Ghetto. Immature. I was having temper tantrums. When you are not able to communicate your thoughts and your feelings to the other individual, you cause a rift. And what many of us do is you shut down. You're not talking, and now you shut down. Why? Because you do not want to, silent treatment is like a form of control. You want to make the person become submissive to you. So the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to make you're going to be sorry that you did whatever you did. Wow, that is so terrible. That is terrible. You're trying to make this person uncomfortable. You're using it as a weapon in your relationship. When we walk in silent treatment, you're using it as a weapon against that person. Listen, silent treatment is not just to your boo. It could be with your children. It could be with a friend. It could be with a spouse. Oh, you made me mad, so I won't talk to you no more. They're texting you. You won't text back. Now, let me say this. This is different from when you're cutting something off with somebody. When you're cutting something off with someone, that's totally different. Your silence is saying, I'm done with it. I've gone over this with you 1,000,001 times. I'm not going over it for the 1,000,002nd time. I'm done. That's different. Your silence is saying, I'm done. That's not what I'm talking about. Oh, that's good. Don't confuse silent treatment with timeout. Timeout means I need a minute. That's what I'm going to do in my relationship. I'm going to be like, that means timeout. Or however you do it. How is it? Is it this way? Y'all know. Tell I'm not a sports watcher. Timeout. I need a minute to get myself together because I don't want to say something to you that's going to be hurtful. So instead of me just bursting out because my feelings are not under control, my emotions are all over the place. My intentions are not to hurt you. My intentions are to inform you as to why I am hurting. So I need to go over here and I need to take a timeout. Timeouts are constructive. Timeouts are, they're time bound. That's good. They're time bound, right? So a timeout means I need a few minutes or I need, can we talk this afternoon? This is how you know you're mature. This is how you know you're mature and you're not trying to use the silent treatment with the individual, because you'll let them know, I need a moment. I need a timeout. I need a moment to go and get myself together. I need a moment and have these conversations. See, this is it. We talked about this a while back, but it bears to be repeated. When you are in a good place, when you and the person is in a good place, whether that's your spouse, your significant other, a friend, your child, whoever, your coworker, when you're in a good place, this is when you need to talk about this kind of stuff. You can't talk about this if you have this issue in your relationship or you have dealt with the silent treatment in your relationship. You can't talk about it when it's in operation. Because you're not going to hear each other. Somebody's not going to be receptive. So you've got to take the time. I'm telling you, when I get into a relationship, it is going to be important to me that a minimum of once a week, but prayerfully 2 to 3 times a week, we have emotional check-ins. Hey, we good? Or if we sense that something is off, and y'all know how that go. You can kind of sense like, I don't know what it is, but we off. Hey, babe, can we have a check-in? Can we check in with each other? When you make check-ins a regular part of your relationships, it will keep the enemy out. It'll keep him at bay, because you two have made the decision that we're going to come together in agreement to make sure that we see these little foxes and we deal with them quickly. The Bible will tell you, listen, you can be angry about something, but I don't want you to sin as a result of your anger. I don't want you to allow your emotions to cause you to be angry about something so much so that it causes you to sin in a way. And I believe silent treatment is like a sin. I do. Because you're trying to punish somebody for not giving you something or not doing something that you wanted them to do. So you give them the silent treatment. Some people, like in marriage, I told you my example with my ex-husband. I wouldn't have any sex with him. So not only am I not going to talk to you, I'm not about to meet your needs sexually. That's evil. What are you doing? But I did it. I did it multiple times. That's out of order. You've allowed the enemy room. And I'm telling you what I know. A lot of relationships, in particularly Christian relationships, a lot of Christian relationships have gone to the left, have gone south, because you punish your spouse by not giving them sex. And that's just not women punishing men. There are some men, you know your wife has a high sex tolerance, or you know your wife enjoys being intimate with you, and when you get mad, you'll withhold. That's evil. Because what you're doing is you are not meeting a need that they have. When you withhold from a person, and that's what the silent treatment is, it keeps you from being connected emotionally. So when you are not connected emotionally to that individual, well, I can't feel you now. If something was to happen with us, I can't feel you because I've disconnected myself from you. Does that make sense? I've disconnected myself. We have to pray about that. We cannot say that we are believers and we don't, I won't say the desire, because I believe a lot of us have the desire. We just don't have the discipline to walk in the fruit of the Spirit. They're not called fruits. I know it's like 9 of them. I believe it's 9. I know it's several, but they're not fruits of the Spirit. They're fruit. That means it's one. It's all wrapped up in one. It's just one watermelon. It's just one peach. It's just one strawberry. When we are not walking in the fruit of the Spirit, so we can look at them as like seeds. If you can look at the fruit of the Spirit, it's like a watermelon. And then you have the seeds, those different seeds. One of those seeds is self-control. One of those seeds is kindness. How are you're not exhibiting kindness when you are giving someone the silent treatment? Because what you're saying is, I'm going to ignore you. That's not kind. That's not nice. Because it's going to make the other person feel some type of way. How do we fix this? Number one, we have to be honest about the fact that we do it. That's good, God. Not only if we are the initiator of it, but if we are the recipient of it, we also have to ask ourselves, why are you accepting this? Why do you allow this? Why do you allow this person to treat you this way without doing something about it? And you may say, well, I do acknowledge it, but they don't listen. So now, if you've acknowledged it, if you've voiced it, if you've let the person know, like when we get into a disagreement, I notice that you do ABC, and that hurts me. It hurts me because, see, like you can't just say it hurts me. You have to tell them why. Listen, when we say to an individual, that hurt me, but you don't explain why it hurt you, that does not really have any substance. It lacks substance because people get hurt all the time. You could say something to me today and I may laugh at it, but you could say it to me tomorrow and it may hurt my feelings depending on what it is that I'm going through. And so I think we have gotten so desensitized in our relationships. We've gotten so comfortable in our relationships that we kind of just brush them off. We just brush stuff off. Oh, she hurt me, or he hurt me, or they said something to me and that hurt me. And then you just brush it off. We can't do that. Because what happens when you brush that stuff off is it plants little seeds. Little seeds are planted. And I'm telling you, at the time that you don't want, those seeds not only take root, but they begin to grow. And now, this is what happens. I'm going to tell you, thank you, Lord. This is exactly what happens as a result of that. Something will come up out of the blue and trigger it. And the other person is like, well, where'd that come from? You remember when you did such and such? And you're like, when? Or they're like, what are you talking about? That's a seed that was planted. It was a seed that was planted because you didn't uproot it when it came. That's what I mean when I say we have to go back when it's a safe time. We have to go back when we're able to talk and we really have to be honest with ourselves and we have to say, hey, the other day when we had this disagreement and you went away upset, I went away upset, or we both walked away upset, that hurt me because, and then you have to add, on top of that, there was a silent moment. Either I did it, or you did it, or we did it to each other, where there was no communication. I'm telling y'all, communication equals connection. Communication equals connection. If you do not understand the importance of that, that is the same thing with the Father. If me and him are not in constant communication, if I get mad at God because God didn't do something that I like, and I turn my back on him and I give him the silent treatment, we can't communicate. So if we are not communicating, we are not connecting, which means if there is something that needs to happen between the two of us, because I'm the one that's doing the silent treatment with God, I have disconnected myself from him. I disconnected from my source, from my help. That's crazy. It's immature. It's toxic. It's unhealthy. And because we have seen this modeled in our homes, modeled at church, work, in our relationships, in our different, it's not right. I don't care how you slice it. I know they hurt you. But silent treatment is unhealthy. It's immature and it's toxic. Because it causes a division. And the enemy be over there laughing. Yep, good. They can't pray together now. So, yep, she got power by herself, but she ain't gonna really have no power, because if she's walking in silent treatment, she's walking in bitterness. She's walking in unforgiveness. She's walking in this, or he's walking in this. That joker know. Oh, I ain't really got to do nothing. They're going to do it to themselves. This is why their relationship this is why their relationship isn't great, because they see it as, well, you made me mad, so I just need a minute. That's not a minute. When you take a time out, it's for a time. Silent treatment is like, whenever I feel like coming back, I'll come back. No, that's immature. Time out means I need to get myself together. Time out is for you to go and to gain calmness. It's for you to go and gain clarity. Time out causes confusion. It causes distress. It causes discomfort. That's why they're two totally different things. Time out means, because I love you, because I value this relationship, because I don't want to cause any rift or division or strife between us, I'm going to go over here. And if you can give me a minute, can we talk this afternoon? Can we talk about this in the morning? Even though the Bible says don't let the sun go down on your wrath, there's some nights where you go to bed and y'all ain't got it right. One of the things God has told me to do, Jacinna, you will not leave the room. When you get married again, there will be no leaving the room. You will not be going and sleeping on the couch. You will not be kicking him out of the room. You're going to stay in that bed. I don't care if it feels like a fiery furnace that's turned up 7 times. You're not going to leave that bed. You leave that bed, you're giving the enemy room to move. If that's what you can, if you could just remember that. Silent treatment gives the enemy room to move. A time out gives the Holy Spirit room to speak. That's so good. Ooh, that's so good. Silent treatments gives the enemy room to move. But a time out gives the Holy Spirit room to speak. Because the whole reason that you're taking a time out is to level yourself, to settle yourself. I got to settle myself. Settle yourself. That's what timeouts are for. I need to settle myself. I need to calm down. I need to be reminded that I can either choose life or death concerning this situation. Silent treatment breeds death. Time out breeds life, because it's saying, I value you. I value this connection. So I am not going to allow my feelings. I'm not going to allow how I feel, because listen, your feelings change. They change. And because your feelings change, you cannot rely on them. You ever my mama would say this all the time, and she still says it today. When you get married, you can't come back home. And I really don't want to hear about what y'all got going on. Now, as long as he's not hitting you, as long as he's not physically abusive or whatever, or I would even say now verbally abusive, because that could be just as bad, if not worse, because physical abuse, most people, especially if it's not, very dangerous, like someone getting, shot or cut or something of that sort. But verbal abuse, that lives with you long after the healing has taken place. The broken arm is healed. The black eye is gone. That black eye, emotionally, don't never leave. Verbally, it never leaves. When a person speaks to you in an abusive manner, that never leaves. And so it's like you have to deal with that, because my mom was saying, do not come to me and tell me what's going on with you guys. Y'all going through the silent treatment. Y'all mad at each other. You want to come over here. You want to stay over here because he's made you mad. She'd be like, no, you need to go home and you need to talk that out and need to fix it. I'd be so mad about that. Like, oh, you can't even come home to your mama, to a safe place. No, what mama was saying was, I need you to run to God, not to me. God is the only one that can help you. Listen, when you get married, this is why I'm not having a big wedding. I am not having a big wedding. Most of my invitations will be via Zoom. You'll be invited to it that way. I'm just going to tell you the truth. You'll be invited to it via video. I'm not having a big wedding. I had that. I want something small and intimate with those people that are close to me. Why? Because when the ish hit the fan, when we start going through, I promise you, I got 3,000 friends on Facebook. I don't even know how. I can only call maybe 20 of them. I'll say maybe, no, that's about right, 20, 25 of them. And really release, maybe not even that many. I cannot call all 3,000 of those friends and say, me and my husband are going through it. And not only release my heart, but receive godly wisdom. Not all 3,000 of them. Some of the people I don't even know. And I feel like, the world, we invite, everybody to the wedding. Half of the time, them people coming to be nosy. They coming to see what's going on, see who came to the wedding, to say that they came and you didn't. And then they going over there to their reception. They're going to eat up y'all food. Y'all done spent all that money on that food. They're going to eat up your food. And people don't even bring you no gifts. You ain't coming. You ain't coming to my wedding. You're not coming. So I'm not doing that. And it reminds me that this is a covenant. This is very sacred. I need those people around me that treat me and him in that manner. They value us enough to say, listen, I'm here. we're inviting you, saying you are here because we know that if we have a bump in the road, we can trust you to help us get over those bumps. We could trust you that if we are out of order, out of line, that you would, hey, y'all need to get back in line. As we grow older, we cannot afford to stay little kids. The Bible says, when I was a child, I acted like a child, spoke like a child, all of that like a child. I drank milk. But when I became a man, I put away childish things and I began to eat meat. There are too many Christians. I'm not talking about unbelievers, because unbelievers, they don't have the help of the Holy Spirit to help them. I'm really at a place, and I still get in my feelings, y'all. Y'all saw it yesterday. But you saw today, I got my life together. And I got my life together because I went ahead and poured that out to God. And I went ahead and laid that at his feet. And as the day progressed, he began to strengthen me even the more. Because he was saying, Jacinna, you could bring me that. You could bring me that. You can bring me a little funky attitude. You can bring me a little attitude. You can bring me a little temper. You can bring me a little, I'm sick of this. You can have a temper tantrum with me. I'm not going to run because I'm here for it. I know you feel alone, but you're not. I felt alone when I was in that garden. And I had my boys with me, but my boys were asleep. I know what it means to feel alone. I know what it means to feel like God done left me out here and I'm trying to do his will. And what? But I love you. And even though you can't feel me, I'm going to do something to let you know that I do. I'm going to make it known to you. And I'm telling you, yesterday, one of my students came up to me and Miss Thomas, can I give you a hug? I knew that was God. I knew it was. She just came up and I was like, what's wrong, baby? She was just looking at me. I said, you okay? And she said, can I give you a hug? Come here, baby. And at first I was saying, oh, she need a hug. And God was saying, no, you need one too. And I used her to give you one. Because I realized what place you're in. I realized that you are in this. I love you, Sabomia. I love you. I realized the place that you're in. God says, let me remind you, I know you're going through it today and it's okay. But what I also love about you, Jacinna, is you remind me of my son, David. When you protest, you come in, God, you come in, you do all of that. And then you're going to start giving praises, baby. Once I got my life together, I had to walk through those emotions, y'all. I had to allow those emotions to do in me what they needed to do. I had to cancel my nail appointment. I was like, I don't want to go get my nails. So I'm going to call her. And my nail tech was like, I'm going to be going on vacation. I was like, oh. I said, when you coming back? She was like, I'm coming back a week from Monday. I was like, so you're not coming back to the 15th? No, I was like, oh no, I got the gathering next Saturday. We can't go be going up in there with no jacked up nails coming because we're going to be celebrating my birthday. And I got to speak this Sunday. Oh no, we can't. No, we can't be doing that. I got to get myself together. And even as I'm talking that through, I'm reminded of the fact that I got to speak on Sunday. So of course the enemy is going to come. Oh, let me get her jacked up. Oh, let me get her messed up so she's not able to do. Oh, let me get her messed up so she don't go on the manna and she don't tell the people. She don't share. No, I got to get her. No, and no. No. What we're not going to do is stay there. I may roll through, but you best believe I'm rolling right on up out of there. You see how my hand just disappeared? Oh, you may see me. I may be coming. I may be like, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God. But baby, I'm going to come back up and I'm going to roll right on up out of there and going on about my business. And that's what we have to do when we're in relationship with others. God said, even with me, some of y'all give me the silent treatment. Y'all turn y'all back on me. You stop being intimate with me for days and weeks and months. because I don't give you something that you want, or I don't treat you a certain way, so you think. We have got to fix that. And the way that we fix that is, number one, we acknowledge the fact that we got a problem. We do this, and or we allow this. And we have to ask ourselves, why? Why do I do this? Why do I shut down? Why do I go silent? And I told you in the beginning when I started, I go silent. I shut down because I've talked to you about this over and over again, and you don't seem to hear me. It seems to do no good. Let me tell you something about that. When you are talking to somebody and it does not seem like you're getting through it, listen, a person can say to you, I care about you all day. They can say, I love you all day. That's great. That's wonderful. That's amazing. But if they don't show you, you need to start asking yourself some questions. You need to make them aware. Okay, you say this, but you show me this. You talk it through. Talk it out. And if that person does not seem to understand, connect, receive, change, you got some choices to make. You got to start creating some boundaries. If they're your spouse, you may have to, you're going to have to come up with something. How can I remain healthy when my spouse is unhealthy? How can I remain healthy when my children are unhealthy? My prayer to God all the time is, Lord, help those that I'm in relationships with to have the desire to be, to change. Help them to have a teachable heart and a reachable spirit. That is my prayer. A teachable heart and a reachable spirit. Why? Because if they have a teachable heart and they have a reachable spirit, that means when things happen, they're mature enough to work it, to work through it with me and within themselves. If a person is not teachable and reachable, I remember my the dance teacher at FCC. Well, it used to be FCC back then, but Impact Church, Minister Trina. She would tell me, as a dancer must be mendable, moldable, adaptable, pliable. You got to be all that. And I was thinking at first, like in the physical. She said, and in the spirit. You got to be able to allow God to do whatever it is he needs to do in you and through you to give the message to the people that you are speaking to. Because when you are dancing, there are no words. And that, Jesus, that's good. And so what you have to remember is that when you are communicating, whether it is verbal or nonverbal, you're saying something. And your silent treatment, or when the silent treatment is given to you, that is a form of manipulation and control. They're saying something. It's just nonverbal. And many times the nonverbal communication is more powerful, more toxic than the verbal. Use your voice. Use your voice. Let's stop this foolishness and grow up. There's a difference in silent treatment, time out, and time to walk. We have got to walk in the fruit of the Spirit so that we will receive the fruit as a result. How do you work through your feelings? You work through your feelings by acknowledging them, accepting them as fact, working through them. For some, it may be, I have to do this. I need to go take a walk. For some, I may need to go take a nap. For some, I need to go get away and pray. For some, I just need quiet. Whatever your thing is, you need to use that to help you come back to yourself. You need to settle yourself. When I am not walking in the fruit of the Spirit, God reminds me, you need to come to yourself. You need to come to yourself. Because right now you're not walking in the fruit. So you're not going to get the results of that. Does that make sense? We are not going to be manipulators. I'm going to give you another example, and I'm going to wrap it up. A common example could be a wife or a husband. They get upset, or, you're with your significant other, or your mama, or whoever. You're with this individual. We're going to just say husband and wife to make it easy. You're with your husband or your wife. You get upset about something. When your spouse asks you, because I need to make this clear, because I know some people may feel like, oh, I don't do that. He wants it to be clear. This is something that we're doing, or he wouldn't be talking to us about it. When they ask you what's wrong, women, we do this a lot. Stop saying nothing. A man, how can I say this? Women, because we are talkers, you do have some men that are talkers, but most of them are not. They will talk, but they are not talkers. Women are talkers, most of us. So we're always thinking, moving information, processing information. We're always doing that. Men, it takes them longer. And you've heard it before. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. Why? Because that means we're on two totally different planes. Women, my sisters, and this is including Jacinna. When he asks you what's wrong, please don't say nothing. Please don't say, I'm fine. You're lying. You just let him in. You just made room for him because you were dishonest. That's just what it is. We're not going to sugarcoat this. Well, I just didn't feel like. No, you were dishonest. Don't do that. How do you want honesty and loyalty and respect and honor in your relationship when you're not doing it? Like, what is this? What is this lie that the enemy keeps? What is this that we keep walking in, but we're expecting different results? Come on, y'all. Let's call the kettle black. Because we do it all the time. You okay? Yeah, I'm fine. But you obviously over there with an attitude. You looking out of the window. You won't look him in the face. You got your head down. Your lips all turned up. You're mad. You need to tell him. No, I'm not fine. I'm upset. Okay, now he's got something. He can go right or he can go left. Right? He can say the right thing and say, well, what's wrong? Or he can go left and ignore it. Or I don't know why you're mad, or not want to acknowledge what you're going through. That says a lot about your relationship. Whether you want to hear that or not, if he or she doesn't seem to, if they don't even be asking those questions, like what's wrong with you? Listen, if a person asks you what's wrong with you, that's half the battle right there. Meet him. Meet her. If they ask you what's wrong. Because guys do it too now. Y'all ain't off the hook because y'all do it too. Men do it too. Nah, I'm good. Bruh, come on, bruh. Let's not do that. Tell them, no, I'm not fine. If you can talk about it at that moment, listen, some of this stuff we want to melt in and we want to sit in it. Why? All it's going to do is it's going to just make you miserable. Don't do that. Tell your flesh, sit down. I value this relationship, and I am going to do what I need to do to keep us together. I am not giving the enemy room to get in. I'm not doing that. At some point, we got to grow up. Asking a few more questions leads to nowhere, so your spouse is left puzzled. They're like, well, what's wrong with you? Well, I can see you're not all right. Well, are you going to talk? Well, are you going to say anything? Because they don't know what to do when we go quiet. They just don't know what to do, child. Like, we'll bust up in there and be like, look, we need to talk. They don't do that. They don't do that. They just do the silent treatment. They just ignore. Because they don't really know how to process it. That's something that men have to work on also. They have to learn to use their words and process and speak what's going on with them. We can't even have that no more. Well, I wouldn't talk that as a, well, my mama told me that. No, bro, you're grown now. You're grown now. No. Listen, we're not making any more excuses for these bad behaviors that we have been exemplifying in our relationship. It's time to stop that. Seriously. You cannot have fruitful relationships without being honest with yourself about the lack of fruit that you have. And if that means that you are the farmer, you're the one sowing those seeds, because it's discord, y'all. It's strife. It's division. And I'm telling you, the Bible said where there is strife, there's every evil work. So that means if there is strife in your house, you know what that means? That's you're not going to hear the Holy Spirit clearly. You're not going to have connection, not just with your spouse, but with God. You're losing connection. Like you're literally turning off the power in your house. When you walk into silent treatment, you're walking in division. I told you, this is how you can remember. Silent treatment equals strife. And strife means every evil work. You don't even want to know what that means. Listen, I believe that a lot of women do this to their spouses, and I'm telling you, and men do it to their wives. So wives, they go out and they find that person to emotionally meet their needs, because he's shutting down. He don't want to talk. He don't want to call. He don't want to fix the situation. Well, she just finds it somewhere else. That's how women get caught up. Men get caught up for the most part when that woman gives them the silent treatment, and then she don't give him none of that nookie. That brother can't take that. That brother over there like, what in the ham sandwich? Not ham, him. You can't do that. You cannot neglect a person's emotional needs, sexual needs, whatever their need is. And for men, it's sexual, usually. For women, it's emotional. That's why when you stop talking to a woman, that breaks her heart. She needs it. Women, that's why married women, let me specify that. Married women. And I did it. You cannot be closing up shop talking about the store is closed. Office hours, no office hours today. Okay. You just let strife enter. Every evil work. Silent treatment pushes people into the arms of other people. It pushes them from you to something else. Maybe they don't go into the arms of somebody else. Maybe they start drinking. Maybe they start watching TV. Maybe they get into something else because they're hungry for a connection with you. And because you choose to manipulate and control the situation through an evil spirit called strife, division, discord, and you instead choose to give discomfort and distress to someone that you say you care about, I don't understand. I don't understand why we do that. It doesn't make sense to me. We got to grow up. You got to be able to talk. Another example is maybe your child does something that you don't approve of. And it could be minor to major. And the parent just ignore the child as punishment. You just don't talk to them. I've had that happen. That's torture. Your coworker, your friend, they don't do something, you ignore them. You see them at church, you go the opposite way. Oh, I don't want to talk to her right now. Instead of saying, I would rather, ooh, this is good. Okay, I'm going to say this and I'm going to leave. I would rather have a temporary moment of discomfort, because that's what's happening. You are uncomfortable, and it's something in you that is causing you to not want to reconnect, even though you have the desire to. There's something outside of that that's causing you, or pushing you to not connect. Your feelings are doing that, and your feelings are connected to some type of emotion. That's why I said something happened. Something happened in your past. Something happened in your life, whether you were rejected, abandoned, abused, neglected, overlooked, not heard, not seen, something where you developed these emotions, these feelings when it came to certain situations, and any resemblance of that causes you to shut down, back up, retreat. You got to take that head on and deal with that, because if not, it's going to deal with you, and it's dealing with you in your relationships. I've done that as a mom. Giving my children silent treatment. And I remember the last time the Holy Spirit wouldn't let me do that. I was upset with Joshua about something, and the Holy Spirit said, you are going to go in that room and you are going to apologize to him as his mother, because he is learning from you how to handle situations, and you are not being a good steward over what I've blessed you with. You're going to go back in there and you are going to apologize to your son for your behavior. Baby, I was over there hot. What? He's the one that came in my house and da-da-da-da-da. God said, get over there and humble yourself. And he reminded me, you're acting like so-and-so. My mama never apologized. I mean, like authentically, like sincerely apologized to me. I ain't get that as no kid. And my mama said what she said, and that was the end of that. God said, remember you said you didn't want to do this? You didn't want to do that? You didn't want to behave like? Go in there and apologize. I went in there and I said, Josh, I am sorry. I said, I did not like. No, I said, I apologize, because I don't say I'm sorry. I said, I apologize for being upset with you and not speaking to you, because that is toxic and unhealthy. That's a dysfunctional behavior, and I know better. I said, I apologize if I hurt you. I said, as a matter of fact, I apologize for hurting you, because I know it hurt you. Silent treatment hurts. So I'm not going to say if. I'm going to assume that I did. I am going to take responsibility for my actions. I'm sorry that I hurt you, disappointed you. If there's any negative emotions that I caused as a result of my behavior that I have not mentioned, I apologize for that. And I ask for your forgiveness. And I ask that you make me mindful of it the next time, so that I don't carry out that behavior. And then I said, I was upset, and I resulted to that dysfunctional, unhealthy behavior because at the time I could not process my emotions. I was hurt because you came in my house at an indecent hour, and when I called you, you did not pick up the phone. That scared me. You are a black male walking the streets at 11 o'clock at night. It scares me. Because I know you come up missing just like that. That's a reality, especially as a mom. I said, and I don't want to treat you like a baby. I said, but unfortunately, I have my fears when it comes to you as my son. You like to wear hoodies, you wear dreads, like it's so many things. And I know that's wrong, but that's the world that's facts. That's the world that we live in. And you're an easier target. I said, all you had to do was call me. And I went on to talk to him about, what was going on. And I said, you can't do that again. You can't do that again. I said, so I want both of us to work on our part in bringing making this a situation that we're having to deal with. I said, is there anything that you want to say? And he expressed himself. He said, yeah, Mom, I was trying not to call you because I was trying to, do it myself, and I was trying to be responsible. It wasn't, your fault. You've told me that if I don't plan my money well, that I need to figure out a way to get home. My coworker couldn't bring me home, so I walked. And I said, I understand all that. I appreciate that. I said, but some you have to think that wasn't the wisest decision. Again, you don't live around the corner from the job, from the house. You live a ways. That's going to take longer. That's going to cause me to be worked up because I don't know where you are. I said I was calling you. You were not answering the phone. And it's because he was listening to his music and he said the volume on his phone was down or something. And I said that was causing me to be in a panic. And I told him, I said, Josh, I didn't have this, so I'm learning how to do this with you. I'm learning how to do this with Jalen and with Layla. How to explain why I feel a certain way or this is happening or whatever. And I said, and I'm really trying to get to a place where we all are able to do that. We feel there's a safe place where we can have difficult conversations, but that will lead to fruitful results. Why? Because I don't want to yell at my child, go off on my child, be mad at my child, and then make them feel like crap because I'm the mama and I said it and that's it. That's garbage. That is immature. That's not godly. That's not fruitful. Parents, we mess up too. And we have to humble ourselves and go to our kids and say, listen, I didn't do that the right way. I apologize. Can we fix this? I want my children to come to me. I really messed up with Jaden because I just didn't know how to be a mama. And, I didn't have it. I didn't know how to connect with her emotionally. Even though I didn't know how to connect to her. You know what I mean? So I want to get it right. I want to get it right. I want my relationships to be healthy. And in order for them to be healthy, I have to do my part. And then I have to come into agreement, partnership with the other individual. And, one of my biggest things is not because I'm the mama. Parents, we mess up all the time. And I think it's nothing greater than for your child to see that you missed the mark, but you were able to come back to them, humble yourself, take responsibility for your actions, apologize, and make that thing right. They'll never forget it. They'll remember that over them $200 Air Force Ones you bought. They'll remember that they'll remember it. It will carry more weight. It will help them because it will teach them that I know how my mama was, but now look at what my mom is doing now. She's trying now. Before, she just used to be who she was. But now she's trying. I see that. You know how about that'll speak? Even to your spouse, even to your Well, I remember times she was shut down, but now she will tell me what's going on. We have to use our voice. Silent treatment is not what we should be doing in our relationships. If you need a timeout, say so. Honor your timeout. I need 5 minutes. Can we talk about this afternoon when we get off of work? And when they come in, because women, we have a way of setting the atmosphere wherever we are. And it is felt in the room. We literally are thermostats. The Bible says that the husband is to dwell with the wife with knowledge. That means you've constantly got to be taking her temperature, sir. You've constantly got to be doing that. You constantly got to be checking her, because we are emotional beings. We didn't choose that. That's how we were created. So our mood changes constantly. Sir, if you want to be the man that loves her, your bride, like Christ loves the church, his bride, because that's what you were commanded to do in the word, to love your wife like Christ loves the church. She was not commanded to love you, because it's not hard for a woman to love you, but it is hard for her to respect you. That's why the word tells her to respect your husband, to honor your husband, to submit. Wives, submit to your own husbands, because that is a challenge. She'll submit to her pastor because her pastor, he teaches her, he reaches her, he fills a void for her. That's why God says submit to your own husband. You need to submit to your husband like you submit to this pastor. You need to submit to your husband. That is a challenge, because sometimes your husband, he does things that makes it hard to come up under. To relinquish to surrender and relinquish and come up under. He makes it difficult. Just think about it. It's a challenge for both of us. But if we keep God in the center, he will teach us how to do what we are supposed to do, what we've been commanded to do for each other. Because what it does is it humbles you. Nobody wants to be humble. God just said silent treatment is prideful. It's prideful. Wow. Amen. All right, I'm going to let y'all go. Whatever. I'm not going to even mention that. I pray you got something today from the conversation. I pray that something that was said helps you, will help you. I hope something that was said opened your eyes a little bit more, kind of helped you reflect a little bit, or that you will reflect on, how do I carry myself when something bothers me? How do I respond to that? What's my go-to personality? What's my go-to reaction? Do I retreat or do I move towards it? Do I run from battles or do I stay and put on my armor, pick up my tools, and do I fight? What do I do when things are not working? How do I handle it? Father, we thank you so much for this word. I'm sure I'm not the only person, but I sometimes I'm like, I'm not gonna even put this up. That was not a good conversation, because you're thinking about receiving certain things back, and you keep telling me more and more every day. Your job is to say it. My job is to seal it. You say, I seal. You water. I give the you plant, you water, I'll handle the increase, Jay. You just do what you're supposed to do. You can't worry about likes, you can't worry about hearts, you can't worry about emojis, you can't. That's why that stuff, it throws you off. It's not an easy thing to talk about. A behavior that you have been initiating or receiving is not easy to talk about. I mean, because silent treatment just makes you feel invisible and unloved. It's just horrible. It is emotional abuse. It is a form of emotional abuse. And we've been doing this to people. We've been doing it to those that we love. And we say, I shut down because, okay, that's not acceptable. That's not acceptable. You got to learn how to deal with your emotions. It's not healthy. It's just not healthy. And God is saying, you keep giving the enemy room to move. You keep coming to me saying, this, God. And God is saying, no, you've got to do something. I can't do it for you. You hear me saying, go back in there and apologize, and you won't even go back in there. You will not die to your pride. You're arrogant. You won't even go and apologize. Well, they hurt me. They probably did. But will you be the mature one? Well, I'm always the mature one. Well, that's the season that you're in. You may have to be the mature one. You may have to be the one that goes back and apologizes all the time for a season until, listen, I truly believe this. The reason that God tells us to do certain things is because that person does not have the ability to. And I know it sounds crazy, but he's been dealing with me about seed time and harvest. And God keeps saying to me, Jacinna, if you plant the seed and you continue to water the seed, that seed is going to grow. It is going to produce something, but you cannot walk away from the thing. You cannot, dismiss it. You can't try to pull it up out of the ground. You have to let time is one of the key elements of any type of growth. Time. You keep doing it over and over. You keep loving on them. And I know it's like to a point where you say, well, when is enough enough? You know if this is the person that your children, that those are God's connections for you. They may not be receiving it right away. Just keep on planting, keep on watering. Just keep watering that seed. Keep watering that seed. What does that look like? Keep doing the right thing. Keep doing the right thing. And eventually, boop, 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 you'll see it come up out of the ground. You'll see the fruit. I know we don't want to wait. We don't want to wait for the harvest. That's the only way. He does his best work during the waiting season. Everybody wants to see the seeds that they plant. Everybody wants to see them grow quickly. I can't remember. I think it's some plant I heard yesterday. Some kind of Japanese or Chinese plant that when it goes in the ground, you have to water it. You have to water it. You have to take care of it. But it's in the ground like a year, 2 years, and nothing happens. Like you see nothing. And then all of a sudden, boop. And God is saying, and so it is in your relationships. Just keep watering it. Water it with the word. Water it. Listen, water it with the fruit of the Spirit. Water it. Water it. Water it with submission. Water it with forgiveness. Water it with love. Water it with humbleness. Water it. When you see those weeds start coming up, unforgiveness, pride, arrogance, fear, all of that, pluck it out. And if you continue to water, you will see the fruit. You'll see the harvest. Amen. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Listen, if you haven't signed up for the gathering, it's going down next Saturday, November the 13th. You want to be there. I want to see your face. I want us to take off the mask and let's get real about some of these issues that we're dealing with, so that we can not only be free and delivered and healed, but that we can go free somebody else. We can help somebody else be delivered. We can help somebody else be real, so that they can heal. It's not just about you, but it's about you connecting to and doing your part in the kingdom. I love you. Have an amazing weekend. I'll see you on Monday. Bye-bye.